Hi guys, let me just tell you, I had such an amazing reading month. Oh my goodness, I had so many 5-star reads. It was truly the best reading month I've ever had this year. So I just needed to say that because that makes me so happy because I was in a reading slump for such a long time and I'm finally out of it. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about all the books I have read. Anyways, um, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Emily and I love talking about books. And in today's video, I will be showing you all the books I have read in June. Right. I can't believe it's already July, which feels absolutely insane. But anyways, I'm so excited to talk about all the books I've read because there were some really good ones in it. So let me just say that. And yeah, all in all, I read, let me check. All in all, I read 17 books this month, which is definitely not as much as I was usually reading, but I had a great time, so that's all that matters. And yeah, I'm just glad to be back in my reading era, like really back in it. So yeah, let's just go right back to the beginning and talk about the first book I have read. So the first book I have read was The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson, which was a thriller that takes place kind of in an airport lounge and then over the flight, because there are two random people and they meet and they kind of discuss the one's wife of the one guy and how she's horrible and how he kind of wants to kill her, and then they're kind of like trying to figure out a plan on how to do that. But like it gets so much more complicated and crazy and like just crazy with like all the people in there, and yeah, crazy revelations and plot twists, so many like sprinkled in between, not just at the ending, which was so nice. I was reading it on my flight back home and I was entertained the whole time. It was truly a really fun thriller and I still think about it, which I feel like, especially for a thriller, says a lot about it. So I gave it 4 stars and yeah, had a great time. Honestly, cannot complain. Then the other book I have read on my plane ride was Never Lie by Frida McFadden, which was a thriller which is about a couple who goes to a show of the house. Like they want to visit the house to see if they want to buy it. You know what I mean? I don't remember the word I'm trying to say, but anyways, and then they get snowed in and then they realize that the house is actually the house of a missing psychiatrist, and then the female MC finds tapes of all the clients or patients she had and like who she talked to, and then there's so much happening and so many like secrets get revealed about the characters and everything like that, and there are so many characters, and it also goes between timelines of like when the psychiatrist was still alive and like her life, and then when they were snowed in and stuff like that. And yeah, it was really good and I really like Frida McFadden's thrillers, so this one was also great and I gave it 4 stars as well. Then another thriller, because then I was on a car ride and I love reading thrillers like in one sitting, and that was No Exit by Taylor Adams, which is basically about a girl and she's driving home from college and then there's a massive snowstorm again and she goes to this diner, yeah, and then she realizes that there's a girl in one of the trucks or SUVs, I don't know, and the girl is kind of like locked into the car and can't leave, and she's basically kidnapped. So one of the other guests that are in the diner kidnapped that girl and she's trying to save the girl and like help her escape, and it got so intense. It was crazy and it was so cool and I just couldn't stop reading it. So yeah, and the female main character, she was truly great. Like she did everything she could. So yeah, I gave that one 4 stars as well. Yeah, and then I read When in Rome, which was a romance book and it was so cute and adorable. It is about this music star who goes through kind of a rough patch in her music career. So she's going to this small town in Rome. No, she goes to this small town that's called Rome, but it's in Kentucky, to like chill, calm down a bit. And then she falls in love with the guy who lives there, which he was great. Like they both were so just great characters and not annoying in any way, and fitted so well together, even though they were living so different kind of lives. And yeah, I just had a great time reading it, and it was a lot of fun, so I really liked that one too. And then I read The Villa, which was another thriller, but a super summery thriller because it takes place in a villa in Italy, which was such a cool setting, and mostly I read it because of that. The plot was definitely not as great as other thrillers, but the setting and the cover, I don't know, I just am obsessed with it. So yeah, because this was basically dual timelines in the 1970s when there were a group of friends living in the villa, and then one of them died. You're trying to figure out how he died or who died. And then in the now timeline, two best friends go to the villa, and one of them is trying to figure out exactly what happened. And some stuff goes down again. And yeah, it was really fun. And honestly, no complaints, but nothing crazy. And the ending kind of pissed me off, I'm not gonna lie, so I didn't love that. But yeah, 3.5 stars for that one. And then I read 7 Days in June because it was June, so I thought I would finally read the book and not have to wait until the next June, so that was fun. And it was definitely not an easy rom-com because it is a more emotional romance, because the main characters have been through so much and have really struggled with their mental health back in the days, because they met, I think it was 15 years ago during high school, I think, and they had like these 7 days in June that were just great and perfect and amazing, and then they never speak again, and then 15 years later they meet again and stuff happens, obviously, you know. But I feel like the emotional stuff that was happening with the characters on their own and all that kind of stuff was just really good. And also I really liked that the characters were authors and writing about each other in the books they were writing, which was so cute. And yeah, I really liked that one as well, and I gave it 4 stars as well. Like I said, I had a really good reading month, so no complaints. Then I listened to the audiobook Thank You for Listening, because it's about an audio narrator who falls in love with another audio narrator. So it was kind of fun listening to it on audio, which I would definitely recommend. And also the book was written by an audio narrator, so you know, I just love it. And it was kind of fun, like listening to it and listening to the story, and then also the story being about listening, I guess. And as well, the characters had such emotional depth and like trauma, and kind of like the reasoning why they were in audio narration was really good, and the way they were falling in love was really cute. So I really liked that one, and it was so fun. And I gave it 4.2.5 stars. Then I read Ander and Santi Were Here, which is a queer romance about 2 Mexican boys who live in Texas, but it's actually super accepting. Like they had no trouble being gay, which was obviously incredible. But one of these characters was undocumented, and then there were some problems with ICE because they were always there and like trying to figure out who is undocumented and that kind of stuff. And so that was the main struggle of their relationship. And the book was super sad because it's so unfair and just sad, but at the same time it was kind of like happy and funny and cute and all the good feelings as well. And I really liked it, and great set of characters, no complaints at all. And yeah, I gave it 4.75 stars just because I didn't have that 5-star feeling, you know. But it was still totally amazingly great written, great characters, super great like themes and like important topics to talk about. So yeah, it was honestly really good, and it is a new release, so yeah, really good. And then I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I have been putting off for such a long time just because I thought I wouldn't love it, from what I've heard people describe it as, but actually it was amazing and super fun. And I liked Delilah, and I liked the other female main character love interest because it's also queer, and Claire, that was her name, Claire and Delilah. And Delilah basically comes to shoot her stepsister's wedding, like photograph it, and Claire is the best friend of the bride, and so she's the bridesmaid. Yeah, exactly. And then they like kind of connect, and it's cute, funny, but there are also like struggles because back in high school the friend group was kind of like bullying, I guess, Delilah, so you know, that kind of stuff was a struggle. And then also like Delilah and the best friend, and Delilah and their sister didn't have the best relationship, but it was honestly great. And like I really connected with Delilah, which was cool, with her family struggles, I guess, so that was really nice. And yeah, I just really liked it. And then I read Fourth Wing, which was amazing. I have read it on my Kindle on the library because when it got out I was instantly like putting it on hold, so I had to wait like 2 weeks to get the library book, and now it's several months, and I'm just so glad I got it before all the other people wanted it, so that was really good. When I was reading it I wanted to have the physical copy so bad, so I ordered it. Still hasn't arrived because you know it is sold out everywhere, but I hope it's gonna come soon-ish. We'll see. But yeah, no, that was such a fun fantasy book. I haven't read fantasy book in such a long time, so maybe it was hitting so hard because of that, but also it was so easy to understand. The characters were great. The dragons were definitely my favorite part, and the way they got their powers was so cool, because I don't really love fantasy with like fairies and stuff like that, but dragons, that was incredible. And yeah, I'm sure you have heard so much about it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but let me just tell you, I'm so excited when the physical copy comes, and I'm so excited about the second book that comes out in November. I am looking forward to it so much. And yeah, the ending, crazy shit, a little bit sad, a little bit crazy. Definitely did not see any of it coming, except the sad part because I did get spoiled, so that was fun. But yeah, otherwise it was really good, and I loved it. And yeah, 5 stars. This was my first 5-star book in like actual month, which is crazy, but I just love it so much. So yeah, and it like made me want to read all the time, which hasn't happened in such a long time, and it's getting better, but that was definitely really good. So I just really love that book so much. But yeah, then I read Love Theoretically, another paperback finally, and this book was so good. I love Ellie Hazelwood's writing and the way she writes about women in STEM, which I feel like is such a different kind of topic, and it was a little bit different to her usual books because at the 3rd book I feel like it can get a little bit repetitive, you know, like the guy being massive and the girl being super tiny, and like a little bit stupid because she doesn't get that the characters is super in love with her, you know, that kind of stuff. But at the same time I eat it up every time, and it is so great every time, so I really just liked it. And also Elsie, the female main character, she had a problem being a people pleaser, like an extreme people pleaser, and I have that problem as well. Like I was reading it and I was like, same girl, I would do the exact same thing. and so that was great. And like the way he was helping her was really cute, and the main character Jack, 10 out of 10, no complaints at all. And yeah, I think Ali Hazelwood just really has a good way to write a book, because I was smiling so much reading it. And yeah, I'm so excited for her new release, which I think is going to come out in November, because then it's going to be a little bit different because it's YA, so it has to be different. I'm excited to see what she does with that. So yeah, great book, honestly, great book. And I gave that one 4.2.5 stars. Then I listened to the audiobook of The Gravity of Us, which is another queer romance about two guys in Texas, and they live there because NASA is doing, I don't know, NASA is flying to Mars basically, and the dad and the mom, I don't know, but the parents are basically flying to the Mars, and it's about that kind of stuff. And I really like the book and the characters and the way mental health was represented in the book, because one of the guys had depression and the other one was like, I want to help you, but I know I can't like heal you and fix you. And I like really got that, like same. But so that was great, but I feel like it was so much talking about NASA and all their struggles, and like there was so much plot like NASA, and I just did not care about flying to Mars. Okay, who cares? So that was kind of a struggle, you know what I mean? So I gave that one 3.5 stars, but it was so cute, you know. Then that was my favorite book of the month, and I mean that was not even a surprise because I knew it was gonna be the best book. But I read Aristotle and Dante again. I was rereading it and annotating it like a crazy person for my best friend, and I gave that book to her and annotated my own version as well, obviously. I just love this book so much, and I love the characters so much. They are the best characters ever. They are the cutest shit. It's basically about two guys and them growing up and like coming of age and their friendship back in the 80s in New Mexico. And I love the vibes, like New Mexico in the desert in the 80s. I'm obsessed. And then the friendship is so cute. I just love this book so much. Let me just tell you. And also the trailer came out. Incredible, like incredible. So love it. Then I read or I listened to The Other Misses by Marcy Kubia, I think, I don't remember, but I listened to that and it was a really fun thriller. A lot of like twists and turns, and the ending was amazing. I was guessing so hard because it is basically a woman and she moves with her family to England, and then there's a murder next to her house in the neighborhood house, and she's trying to guess who killed the woman in that house. And then there's also like a back to the timeline with a small girl who is called Mouse, or like being called Mouse, it's her nickname. And you know who the small girl is back in the now timeline, you know what I mean? And so me trying to figure out who Mouse was, it was intense. Like at one point I was like, maybe Mouse is a transgender and now he is the woman's husband. Absolutely not, but my head was going all kind of ways, but I still did not figure out the way it was. So yeah, a really fun thriller. I can only recommend. And then I had like the biggest surprise ever, kind of, because I read 1500 miles away from the sun. No, yeah, I think so. You see the cover here, which is by the same author who wrote Anna and Santi Were Here, and this is like his debut book. Sorry, it's been a long day, but This was on Kindle Unlimited, so I just downloaded it between reading all these physical copies of books, just, you know, at night. I became obsessed with this book. Oh my goodness, it was so good. It's like really like unpopular, or not unpopular, but I feel like a lot of people haven't read it, so please go read the book. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It is super fun, super quick and easy, but it is very sad. Oh my goodness. Maybe it just was sad for me, but it was incredible sad. Like, I was crying because it is about Dan and Jules. Yes, I remember the names. About Dan and Jules, and they live in California and in Texas, and they basically like meet over the internet and like begin talking on Twitter, and then so Instagram, and then texting, and then they start a relationship, but they are still always like long distance boyfriends, which is so sad. For one, like, that they can't meet because they're still in high school and stuff like that. And then the second super sad part was Jules' dad, because he was abusive and really just horrible, and I really did not like him, obviously. And yeah, I don't want to say too much, but he was just not a great guy, and it was really sad to read. But also the friendship that Jules, the main character, had was great, and yeah, it was just fantastic. And then, you know, hearing about how he's missing California was very relatable, because same. So yeah, it was honestly just a really good book, and I gave it 5 stars because it was my Kindle book. It was supposed to be the back burner, and it became so quickly the main attraction. It was crazy. So that was fun. And then I read One from an Enemy, which was another annotated book. And you know, those books you start annotating because you're sure you're gonna love it so much, and you want to annotate it the first time because it's super fun. And then you realize, like, at the middle of the book, like, shouldn't have annotated that book, because that was me. Because I didn't love this book too much, because it's basically a Romeo and Juliet retelling in the modern times in New York, but the time it took me to realize who Romeo and Juliet was incredible hard, because it's about 2 couples, which I weird. Why? Like, did I miss something in Romeo and Juliet? Cause and then it was so much politics that I just didn't care too much about it. And then there were like people backstabbing each other, like so many kind of plot points, and I was like, I did not understand it at one point anymore. I was like, why are you doing this? Who are you working with? Who's betraying who again? It was a lot. So I didn't love that. It had some great quotes, and I love her writing so much. I just didn't love this book as much as I thought I would. Like, I thought it was gonna be a 5-star book, but it just wasn't. But it's still a great book, and I'm sure people love it because it is a great book, and I love the cover. So yeah, I just love the cover, so that's fun. But yeah, personally, not my favorite of hers so far. And yeah, then the last book that I listened to was Do Not Disturb by Frida McFadden, slowly getting through her backlist. And this was, I think I haven't heard too many people talk about this book, but it was fantastic. It was a great thriller, super quick, super easy, super short to read, and so much fun. Like, so much fun. It was super interesting, and again, it's about this woman, and you learn, like, on the first page, she murdered her husband because the husband was abusing her, and she was like, finally, like, not gonna happen anymore, because he was choking her, and she was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stab you. So but he was kind of like influential, you know how that kind of stuff is, so she was like, yeah, let me just run away. That sounds fun. And she doesn't get too far, because then she's like stuck in this motel not far from her home because of a snowstorm. The amount of snowstorms I have read about this month is actually insane. In June, which is fine. But yeah, she's stuck there and doesn't really know how to leave. And like then the police are like coming, and then there's so much happening because then it goes through different point of views and all this kind of stuff. So it was, I don't want to say too much, but it was really, 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 really good, and I gave it 4 stars as well. So yeah, and that was for all the books I have read this month, and I'm done talking now. But yeah, honestly, I love all of the books. I would read most of them again. Like, we truly did not have many misses, and yeah, I just really, really enjoyed my time reading this month. So that was so fun. And I'm finally out of my reading slump, which I'm just obsessed with, and yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please read the books I was talking about. Please. Thank you. And yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you in the next one. Bye guys. Like and subscribe. Peace out.